How's it going, everybody? This is BeatTheBush. Today I'm going to talk about how I got a bit too cocky. This, I think, will be the most difficult video that I ever have to do. A while ago, I made a video called How I Spent $35,000 on Vacation. A lot of you have written in the comments that it was clickbait, and I profusely disagreed on this, sometimes childishly. I provided my own justification saying that, hey, in the end, it is exactly what I did. But looking at it some more, it took me like a week or two of thinking about this before I realized that I was wrong. You see, as a creator, I have to make thumbnails look alluring so that you would click it. But that's actually a really fine line to walk, because if you try to make it too alluring, maybe it might be true, but maybe if it's not exactly what the viewer thinks that it's going to be, then it might be deemed as clickbait. Now, all over YouTube, I see a lot of videos that are clickbait. Sometimes I let it happen. I go, okay, this look clickable. I'm going to click it anyway and see what this person has to say. Sometimes when I click on it, it's completely different than what the thumbnail shows. So in the end, my definition of clickbait is a bit softer than what the general audience would think of. I actually had to look up what clickbait was in a definition. Here it is. Something such as a headline, or in the case of YouTube, a thumbnail, or also the headline, designed to make readers want to click on a hyperlink, especially when the link leads to content of dubious value or interest. And now, I think a proper definition to this is that if it makes you click on it and whatever the viewer thinks that they're going to click on, and you do not deliver on this promise of the title or the thumbnail, then it would be considered clickbait. Now, not long after, I made a video about how to deal with hate comments, and a lot of you think that it was a response to that video saying that it was clickbait. In reality, I actually finished making that video before even that clickbait whole thing happened. So when I make that video about how to deal with hate comments, it might seem like I got it all figured out, but when in reality, no one has really ever traverse this path of having more and more subscribers in this YouTube world. I'm just learning as I go. I don't have a lot of creator friends who has more subscribers than I do, where I can ask them questions and sort of learn off of them. What in reality for that video is, I've gone through a certain number of things, and then I'm just giving tips and tricks on what I personally gone through. But this is not the end of the story. I am pretty sure as the years progress, I'm going to have more difficulties. I'm going to learn new things from it. I want to take this time to address that sometimes the good comments might be just as bad as the bad comments. And now let me explain why. Of course, the good comments are very good and I really appreciate them. But whenever you get a really good comment saying, oh, we love you, or stuff like that, it in a way is damaging for my character, because as a YouTuber, when you read enough of these things, it starts to get in your head. When time after time you read comment after comment saying, oh, you're great, it starts to sort of build up your ego a little bit at a time, no matter how much you're trying to suppress it. I know whenever I read them, I usually respond saying, haha, you're inflating my ego, when in reality, it's not really kidding. It really is inflating my ego all that much, this tiny little bit. When you have enough of these praising comments, you start to get a bigger and bigger head. You start to get more arrogant. You start to get more conceited, which I think possibly, I probably feel like I already did, become more big-headed. So what do I need to do here? I need to bring it down a notch, come back down to earth. Sometimes even in real life, people say they're a fan and stuff. And I've caught myself saying certain things. And when I hear it back in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I just said that. That sounds so cocky. But, you can't just go, oh, just kidding. I don't want to say that. But I did realize that I've been catching myself being a little bit more cocky than my usual self before my channel got more and more popular. Before I started this channel, I could never imagine that it would be such a big test of your own character. Now, this is much harder than I ever thought it would be. It's definitely a lot harder than an engineering job where you go in and you go to a cubicle and then you just essentially do work with numbers. Basically, you don't have any people interacting with you. So having made that video where it was definitely a mistake, it certainly hurt myself, and I wouldn't say it's anyone's fault. It was basically my own fault for not knowing a certain thing about YouTube. And I'm pretty sure a lot of YouTubers out there, they have certain things they do not understand about a growing channel. perhaps they will make the mistake sometime later on, maybe after they hit a million subscribers or something, or maybe it'll be a completely different thing, not clickbait, because maybe they totally understand that and they, make a mistake in something else. But it's the realization that you made a certain mistake. You're gonna get hurt in the process, and I certainly was. And over the course of a week or so, and I got quite a bit depressed. I couldn't really concentrate. As you saw, I couldn't make all that many more finance videos. I feel like when I made that how I spent $35,000 on vacation video, I feel like what I was doing was kind of like giving you guys the best of what I have in terms of finances, which is kind of like a secret sauce, sort of. You pour your heart and soul into a piece and you manage to package it together. It takes many hours to do it, and then you upload it. And what it feels like, and I'm not blaming anyone here that actually said it was clickbait or anything, because I feel like this is my fault. But what happened is that I put this beautiful thing, I thought it was beautiful out there, and it gets trashed and stepped on. The reality is everything that you put online, it's going to be looked at with a fine microscope. Sometimes it might be little letters that sometimes I leave something on there and people see it and I didn't catch it. In this case, it's more like what's in the content itself, what's in the thumbnail, what's on the title that gets scrutinized by fine detail. Let me try to explain what it's like, because not everyone is going to be a creator. Not everyone's going to be a YouTuber out there. Imagine you spending days on something. Let's say you baked a cake or something and you put all kinds of nice decorations on it and you put your heart and soul into it. You bring it to someone that you really like or something. It's a gift. And once you bring it to them, they go whack, slap it, and it falls onto the ground. All this work, it just splatters on the ground. It hurts. Going back and looking at something like this and actually admitting yourself and sort of, I guess, humbling yourself to it, admitting guilt, saying that you're wrong. I was wrong. I'm gonna, of course, try to not do that in the future. I hope to catch these character flaws in the future before I even have to make a video about it, before I even make a certain mistake about this. So let me cover where I think I strayed from the proper path, I guess. I think it was even before getting the silver play button, probably at a point where I know I was gonna get it. I know that the subscriber rate is a certain amount. I would pinpoint it at somewhere 60,000 or 80,000 subscribers, where probably I started getting a little bit cocky. I hear myself saying certain things in front of friends and stuff, and that's a very bad sign. I think this is just something that YouTubers have to grow and learn into. It may not always happen at that particular point. Maybe some YouTubers, they might start getting cocky after 1,000 subscribers, 10,000 or something. But it's more like a character test. When you get to a certain point where you have enough people saying, oh my gosh, we love you, you are great, every little thing. Even within that clickbait video, people were defending my position. They're saying, oh yeah, I don't really care that you made this. It's great anyway. We love you anyway. We're gonna watch that video anyway. I think that is the dangerous point, because you could very easily just kind of block out all these, what I called hate comments, and then just look at the good comments, and then you can think that you're right, when in fact I actually need to open up a bit more and sort of letting in these type of criticism, even though when at first it may seem like hate comments, but those are the hardest, because YouTube comments, they're the most brutal thing ever. People on the other end are essentially anonymous. It's kind of like, I know some of you have experienced this before, when you accidentally read something that someone wrote about you and you're not supposed to know this, and they just kind of talk really freely about you. This is exactly what you're gonna get on YouTube comments. People are going to freely say anything they want about you, and it's gonna be brutal. And this is what it's like. You're reading something from someone that is writing about you and they did not expect it to be heard by you. And so I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this in the past, and it's quite shocking. Imagine how shocking that was, except in one single comment. You're just getting this day in and day out. Every single comment, people are just bombarding you with this. And it's sort of like a protection mechanism. If you don't start to block out some of this stuff out, oh man, you just can't live your life. I'm looking at these comments every single day, and if I try to absorb these type of comments and really think about them, I'm really going to, just have a miserable life. So this is more like a defensive mechanism, kind of, I guess, so that you block out most of it. So I don't know what to say. You got to let in some of it in order to help yourself grow. And, I really have to listen to more of these hate comments in the future. So my feeling with this is some YouTube channels, maybe they don't ever have to think about this. They just go about their own ways. They all only stay in a certain niche. The way I'm structuring my YouTube channel is like I'm opening up a little bit more and more. And so what you're looking at is kind of people talk about how they kind of know me already even before they meet me in person. So it's kind of like that. Some channels, they're very closed off. They only let in like a small sliver of what they do, and they can be completely popular with their channel like this, but that's not the way I want to do things. I want to open up more and more, and just a little smidgen of what I kind of think about, but I'm not sure if I can actually implement this, but open it up so much that people know more and more about me, not just, what currently I am comfortable with letting people know. I just kind of want to, just kind of open up more and more. Maybe one day I can talk about my past relationship. Maybe one day I can open up about my net worth, finances, things like that I did not want to share in the past. So this is something I mull over all the time. It's like, should I share that aspect of my life or not? It's just something I think about, and I might just do that in the future. So I think for a lot of YouTube channels, you just might stagnate yourself. If you just go in, day out and do exactly the same thing. A lot of channels just kind of taper off. Other channels, maybe if they're doing the right thing already, they get more and more popular. But I feel like the right way to do it is to improve yourself. Always improve yourself. Sometimes it might be new camera, new video. You might notice that this is 60 frames a second these days. 4K video, 60 frames a second. Like, I'm just pushing the limits on this thing. Not just on technical aspects, but also in character building as well. I'm open to building my character. Also needs improving, not just equipment, not just video style, focusing, things like that. So I think a lot of YouTubers will come to this point where it's almost like a test. You need to get past this test. Stay humble, or else you won't get past this and you cannot reach the next level. When will you reach this humbleness test? I don't know. When you reach a certain subscriber count that would inflate your head enough, that will cause you to become more cocky. Maybe you earn millions and then you start becoming really cocky, and then that will be the test for you. So let me just review over the tests that I felt like YouTube has caused me to try to pass, which is very, very difficult. To get to 100,000 subscribers, you need to be very, very consistent. You need to constantly improve yourself, constantly improve the videos. You need grit. You need perseverance. The second test, which I felt like I am coming to right now and trying to pass, is the humbleness test. I've hit this like straight on. It's like a brick wall. It really caused me to drag my feet the last few days and got really depressed. Couldn't do videos very well. So the test after this, I don't know what it's going to be, but I feel like it's going to be that much harder. If you want to really challenge yourself, make a YouTube channel. This is really hard. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope this was useful.